Good morning, everybody. 1,000, 2
Yeah.
1,000. I think we have an amber system this morning, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we were coming on. Matthew's been having storms and power outages, and we've just been having lots of heat and potential for storms and drought. So it is what it is, as they say. Um, Today, we're going to talk about respond to a question that we got on, and it was from Kyle, and Kyle, I think, works in a dementia memory care setting, and he said, "Could we discuss Snoezelen therapy, the pros and cons of using this in a memory care unit or setting?" So, I actually, of course, went and started looking to see what's out there because I know well about Snoezelen. The question is, what's the research or the evidence that backs up use of Snoezelen? Snoezelen is a multi-sensory experience that was designed for people who are fairly immobile and fairly unable to interact with the environment that is a standard environment. So it takes like light sources and has optic, like hanging down cables that you can manipulate in different lights. It puts lights up on the wall that move and flash. And as you can see, my hands moving around here, little fish swimming in tubes, pretend fish, not real fish, but like swirling around in current, lava lamps, a sensory experience where you might have vibration, you might have things hung from the ceiling, like draped in things that you can manipulate. So it's a multi-sensory room, and it's can be modulated for high intensity, low intensity, but it's usually somewhat darkened. Usually it's somewhat isolated. And the goal of it is to classically what's perceived to do is reduce anxiety, agitation, quote unquote, to engage people or keep them out of other spaces or other situations where they're bothering other people, calm them down, get them to not be so vocal, limiting vocalizations or organizing movement a little bit more, keep them from moving around and possibly falling. I mean, those are the classic reasons in dementia work that it's used. Give them things to mouth and handle that, are relatively durable. Now, when it was initially developed, it was developed for people with developmental disabilities, with pretty significant, severe developmental disabilities that made it impossible for them to really engage actively in the world in many, many ways. And so it was to bring the world that they did experience, mostly sensory. And for some people, there might be manipulative skills. For others, there wouldn't. There might be intact vision. There might be limited vision, visual field, sort of center field. When I say those things, Matthew, what gem states might come to mind in our world?
Yeah, my first thought is amber, thinking someone more in this amber gem state who would love to explore and get real curious about all those things. I'm also thinking about ruby gem state. Mm-hmm. And monocular vision, and how something within that monocular vision and something I can explore that matches my pacing and can be something that I can lock in on, and those gem states definitely.
Well, and then I would say sometimes pearl, when people do come to awareness, we want it close. There may be air movement or visual stuff or auditory things. So here's the challenge. When I did go and look, and I didn't look extensively, but I did take a look, there's actually very little out there that are really reasonable studies that look at really what helps and why and what else have they tried. My challenge with using a Snoezelen room with people who develop dementia later in their life, whether it's at 50 or 60, 70, 40, is that they've lived a fairly regular interaction with an environment. I mean, and so they've had interactions with the environment that are pretty, what I would call more typical. And so these kind of experiences are sort of like, almost like an acid trip or something. If you were going to be on drugs, it's like, whoa, this is kind of weird. Right. And yet I could see I've certainly seen the possibilities of it, but I've also seen really strong people unfortunately damage things, but not because they intend to, but because that's their skill set. They're strong, but not but not particularly skillful. They misinterpret. They get distressed because they can't figure out what to do with something. They want to engage and interact with it. It's not meant for that interaction. Like they trace the light that goes up on the ceiling to where it's coming from, and they want to manipulate it down where it's coming from. And it's like, ooh, it's not meant for that. So when I have seen Snoezelen rooms created, I've all too often seen them viewed as a space to put someone, to get them away from the general group and to have them calm down. But I've also seen it used more as a babysitter, a space where you can put somebody and then you can go do the other things you need to do. And I think if you try to use it like that, there's a high risk that things will not go the way you want them to go.
Yeah. It's not a set it and forget it kind of situation.
No, it's not a set it and forget it. I mean, it's not. And, for many people, I think unless you're super thoughtful about who and how long and in what situations and circumstances, I think if you're waiting until someone gets to a state where, ooh, we need to do something, you're probably going to find it more challenging and difficult to get the person to collaborate with you, to go into the space and engage. So it has to be a pre-planned sort of, when would we bring someone into this space? And it has to be before that amygdala lights up and the person is like, don't, because then it takes a bit. It can be helpful to people, certainly, but to use it as a primary way of calming people down, I think Tove Toffel and some of the engagement opportunities with it, I think that looking at Zinnia TV for some folks, I think that looking at getting a chair that has sort of properties that really respond to the person in a more common space where there are others around. So we sort of mix sort of real life experience with some sensory experience. I think it's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's expensive. So, yeah. It's quite expensive, both to set up and then to maintain, has been my experience. So it's one of those things where, should we invest in staff and training and skill building and use of sensory objects and items and opportunities that exist in the world? Or should we go to this artificial world where we're trying to create this? And my feeling is, and we still need to train staff. And we still need to figure out, okay, but she still has to eat lunch. How are we going to do this? We still have to have the person go to the bathroom. How are we going to help them with that? So I think, I'm not saying it doesn't have a place, but I think to elevate it to a place where isolation or separation, I always worry about that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And Teepa, often we talk about how when you've met one person, you've met one person. When you met one person living with brain change, you've met one person living with brain change. Everybody's different. And you're bringing up this idea of cost and what's the most effective way to use that money. When you create a room and you put things in that room and there's so many people you haven't met yet, so many people haven't been to your space, there's no way you can guarantee what's in that room is going to work for every single person who comes through. If you invest that money in somebody in the training and awareness and knowledge and skill, who can then connect, who can go through the 6 pieces
with engagement,
who can create something specifically for that person that can be used for that person throughout their journey, that seems like it'd be way more cost effective than investing in something that you're kind of stuck with what you got and you hope it's going to work for all the people who come through your space.
Yeah, and if we talk about staff turnover, the Snoezelen room education would have to be transitioned from person to person, from shift to shift. And when we work on training and helping get a trainer in place, and then some champions in place, the role modeling that can happen could make a big difference. And so I'm not saying it's an either or, but I'm saying, do you have the basic core group of skills before you start adding specific props on? Because me, you're in a place, you need the right people in that place doing the right thing. Then you add props, because if you just have well, you know how I feel about just prompts
Just fancy
without
looking
good
stuff.
programming. I
Yeah.
mean, again, figuring out programming and then possibilities, what time of day, under what circumstances. If it's part of a robust program, that's real different than if it's the we've got to do something kind of result of a program that's struggling already.
Yeah.
So for us, I think Snoezelen Room, explore it, check it out. Go visit a unit that has one that says they love it and here's how they use it. Go visit a unit that says, yeah, we tried it. Because there are lots of places out there that have certainly put funds into it, and I've seen it fade, come and go, and not be used anymore. And there are places where I've seen for a few people, it's helpful. And if you have a lot of resources and you can really invest for those few people, um, go for it. But I'm not 100% convinced. I think it has great utility for developmental disabilities. So if you are serving a group of individuals who have already had developmental disabilities, have lived with pretty significant autism spectrum issues, really pretty significant autism, has always made it difficult to interact with the world as most of us interact with it, then it may be well worth the investment. Because for that population, interacting in the world from the very beginning of time for them has never been what it is for those of us who are more typical in our neurological function. So, yeah, I mean, if you're serving that group, look at it more closely because there is more data there. It's still not terrific, but it is better. So, yeah, it's not black and white. If you're interested in when we say the words amber, ruby, even pearl, check out some of our resource card information we have on gem states. There's some online that we have available to you. And we have a new app. And the new app is going to let you look at gem states and learn about gem states, in addition to short videos that are designed to be helpful, educational, are designed to give you examples of here's what can typically happen and here's what we recommend as a better option. And also there's examples of families, care partners discussing their experience and people living with brain change. So anyway, till next time, get your sensory experiences in. It's great. I'm not necessarily recommending a special room, but certainly I'm having multiple experiences being with you, and Matthew's having experiences, and I can look around here and find things to have experiences with. I hope somebody's monitoring my environment if I get to the place where what I might do with things might not be what somebody else is thinking I should do. Mm-hmm. Matthew, do you recognize these?
They look like shims.
They are shims.
Yeah.
I found them.
Yeah.
Is what I'm doing with them what you should do with shims?
Well, I mean, not typically, but hey, I like where you're going.
Yeah, but then when you look at them, look at how rough they are.
Yeah.
And so now your brain just went, oh, maybe I should smooth those out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that might be, that I could see somebody going, well, oh no, hold on, Teepa. Don't.
Yeah, exactly. Or how irritating I can get.
Oh yeah. Look, there she goes again. See, she's making those noises. You need to get her out of here.
Put her in the other room.
Put her in the room.
So there we go again. You just thought we were done. What we hope you get is that anything is a good thing or a not so good thing, depending on what happens. So till next time, remember, it is what it is. It's how you support yourself and the people you care about that make a difference. Thanks for asking the question. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.